Okay, welcome to Coffee Havoc number 2. I'm your host, Echo Fan Grey Wolf. As promised, I gotta talk about my ex and I because she was never woman enough to tell me and give me complete clarification on why we broke the fuck up. So let's start with me. Before I met her, my life was in pretty bad shape and I was fixing to swallow a bullet. That's the fucking honest truth right there. That's 1000% something you probably didn't need to hear, but it's something that for me to move forward, I have to be open and honest about it. You know. So the night that I was going to go to Canada, I had planned everything out. As a martial artist, I figured that if I can go into a bar in Canada and just get beat to death, it beats a suicide. It's a suicide, but it's not like a bullet to the brain. Plus, I don't own a gun, so a warrior's death is what I was planning. Then I met the most beautiful girl that I had seen in my life, at the time, because I was blinded by love at first sight, which is a really bad thing. So I'm trying to make sure that I break out of that habit, because yes, I do believe in love at first sight. But anyway, I met her on Cherry Avenue next door to my job at the fucking Sunshine Market. And then I was in love from that moment, but I had to go to Canada that day. So that there is what stopped me from unaliving myself in Canada. And we talked every day while I'm filming video for the basketball team, the wheelchair basketball team. Get on everybody's nerve, I'm in love, so, I'm not thinking. And it's not like I haven't been in love before. It's not like I haven't had any relationships before, because I'll be the first to confess. I lost my virginity at 10 years old to a 12-year-old girl. She suckered me in, and I thought she broke my dick. That's it. I lived in the projects, I don't know how it happened. I know where. I know what it was on. And I was manipulated. But anyway, I'm good on that. So, I can live with it. I wasn't the one doing the manipulation. I was the one that was manipulated. So, as time went on, I had girlfriends. Got girlfriends after girlfriends after girlfriends. None of them really liked me. They liked me for the time. And when I got old enough to actually have girlfriends, they more or less used me because I wasn't black enough, but I was just black enough to piss off their daddies. One girl with the same name as my ex broke up with me over the phone and showed up on my job with her new boyfriend. Now, prior to that, I've had other girls do similar and worse stuff. So, the last black girl I dated almost got me killed by a 23-year-old when we were 14. The girl before that brought her boyfriend onto my porch, and he had a come to Jesus moment when I literally gave him boots to ass off my porch. So, to that guy and to that girl, I hope you're well. And to the girl who almost got me killed, I hope you're well. So then I started dating white chicks. Alright? And then my ex was Asian. So she was Korean, but she might as well have been white because she was raised by white people. If that offends you, that's a you problem. You want honesty, I'm going to give it to you. So, we were together for a good 2 years. Within the first year, I was ready to get married. Got the rings. Now, these are the first 2 rings I got her because I didn't know her size. And this is the gag ring because I do kung fu. And then this was her size. Never got to give them to her. And I will never get to give them to her. So this is going to sit over there and collect dust. And whatever person finds them when I die, you can do whatever the fuck you want with them. So says this video if you need proof. Anyway, but you can't have anything else. Just those fucking rings. And maybe the girl's stuff in the car because she hasn't made legal arrangements so us to meet and she can get them. Anyway, I had it bad. I was in love with her. And it wasn't about good sex. It was just about that fucking soul connection that I had with her. Our souls was just like fucking perfect for me, but not perfect for her. Alright? This is me defending her as best as I can without getting angry at myself for defending her. If you're going to break up with somebody, that closure, clarification. Alright? Not closure, clarification. Because, see, like I said, for the first year, we broke up every other day. It's like every 3 days we broke up. And I got to the point where I was like, all right, well, we broken up. I was done because I thought I was done. But then she called me back together. Next week, breaking up again. Week after that, back together. Breaking up again, back together. Breaking up again, back together. You understand the problem? And the worst of the problem is that I fell in love with her every day. I won't make that mistake again. Unless it's with the girl of my dreams who does not know that I exist. ZZ. Zigzag. Other than that, no. No. But unfortunately, I believe she has a boyfriend and he's a lucky motherfucker. If he's smart, no. I'll just be dead with Marvel Legends. But anyway, things can change. I do believe in miracles. I do believe in God. I don't bring that here. I don't force anyone to believe in my beliefs. So anyway, like I said, we broke up every other fucking day. Every other day. Sometimes it was like, we break up on Tuesday, we're back together on Thursday. I'm like, you just broke up with me on Tuesday. No. And it really would have phone conversations like that. I'd be sleeping. It was before I got rid of my cell phone. Because, what the who were they? Alltel was telling tall tales. And they got $1,000 out of me in less than 3 months. So, yeah, that was it for that. Straight talk all day, baby. Anyway, I don't know if I can call anybody in Canada yet. But anyway, so she would call me at 3 o'clock. Why aren't you over here? I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Why aren't you over here? I was like, you literally broke up with me today. I did? Yeah, you literally told me to get the fuck out your face and get the fuck out your house. So I got out of your goddamn apartment. I took my night clothes with me. There's nothing of mine in your house. It's like, what? I was like, yeah, you broke up with me today in your house. Well, you need to come back over here. I was like, it's 3 a.m. Well, you need to come over. Okay. So I come over. No sex. Just cuddle. We was together the next day. You can understand the confusion. You can understand the problem. Because this was not closure or clarification. This was a fucking problem. This was a serious clusterfuck. So, eventually, we did break up. No, we literally broke up. The problem was me. I wasn't sure if we was broken up or not. Because of what we've been through over the stuff, you know. So, a week before our anniversary, I had planned on giving those rings. I told her friend, I was like, yo, her name's T. It's not a real name, that's just the first initial in her name. I said, look, I'm going to propose to Amy. Oh, well, fuck it. I'm going to propose to her on the day of our anniversary, the day we met. And so she's like, all right, cool. So that's how I got the right ring size. Because I showed her the other ring. She's like, yeah, you got the wrong size. Okay, so that was it. Anyway, I won't make that name mistake again, but I'm not going to re-erase this video. And as long as I don't do last names, there's no legal ramification. Anyway, so I got off from work. She called my job because I didn't have a cell phone. So I went up there and I cleaned her house. No, I cleaned her dishes and I was going to clean the room, but she stopped it cold. She's like, you can't come see me anymore. Now, from my point of view, in and out. Because I was washing them dishes. Wasn't thinking about nothing. I was hearing her. I wasn't listening. And I was like, the fuck she say? So I'm scrubbing the dishes. Did you hear me? I said, I heard you, but I don't know what you said. So I rinsed all the dishes off. I said, all right, let's go clean the room. She said, no, you're not going to clean the room. You're going to go home now. I was like, the fuck did I do? You know, because I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I went to work that morning from her house. And I was going to go home after that, but she called me, so I went from my job back to her house. Got to working on cleaning shit, and next damn thing I know it was, you can't come see me anymore. I was like, what? How'd this happen? Because the night before, we went to go see that fucking Twilight movie. I don't remember which one. I don't give a fuck. We had good sex. It was the last time we were going to have sex. I didn't know that, but it was good sex. And then she dropped me with that. And so I started crying and talking. We went through the normal thing. I kept asking her. She wouldn't tell me, and I kept asking her. And so eventually, she said she's going to call the cops on me. So I was like, okay. I left her the fuck alone. And then I left her alone for a long time. I had a moment of weakness when I got out of the army. And I called her. And I found myself in court with a harassment charge. So everything I just explained to you in the last 29 seconds, well, the last 20 minutes, 10 minutes and 29 seconds, is what I had to explain to the judge. And you got this fucking dude in the goddamn court crying his ass off. I am bawling. I'm bawling like somebody stabbed me in the fucking leg. So the judge goes, well, if she was here, what would you want? I want you to make her tell the truth on why she broke up with me if neither one of us was cheating. The relationship was almost perfect. I never raised my hand at her. I never raised my voice at her. Now, the one time that I raised my hand at her, we were down T's house, and they were talking about her sex life. And I asked her, why is it okay for you to tell T how our sex life is, but I can't tell my bros how our sex life is? So she slapped shit out of me, right? I was like, okay, that's the second time you done slapped me. It's actually the third time she slapped me since we've been together. She's always put her hands on me. I've never put my hands on her. So I was like, I don't know who the hell you were with before me, but I'm not going to put my hands on you because I was raised better and you don't hit the woman that you love. Is your car unlocked? She said, yeah. I said, good. I'm getting my shit and I'm walking back to Charlottesville from Crozet. So I got my shit and I went and got my bag out and took my nunchucks and went down there and started breaking some trees out of anger because it's better to break trees than break the girl that you love knees. So did that and I said, let me go up here and apologize to this girl because for some reason, even though I'm right, I thought that I was wrong. And I have a bad habit of apologizing for shit that I didn't even do. But I still apologize for it anyway. I have never been able to break that habit. I still do that to this day at 51. Anyway, so go over there, and she comes down the road, so we get in the car, we have a little talk, drives home. We're good. For about 7 months, we're good. And then the breakup happens, and that's why I'm sitting in court with the harassment charge, and I explained to the judge all this shit, and he's like, well, it sounds like there's no problem, so what's the problem? I said, if I knew that, we wouldn't be here. As if she would have just sit there and talked to me like a fucking human being, this would have never happened. Because I can take no for an answer. The problem is I'm a right fighter, and I need to know why. I need to know what I did. I need to know what I can fix, if it can be fixed. And what could be fixed never could get fixed because there was nothing that I could do to fix it. Because the problem wasn't me, the problem was clearly her. And so the judge told me, here's how this is going to roll for you, Mr. Williams. Everywhere that you've gone with her is now her spots. I said, but I film in those places. Not anymore, son. It's like, but I film behind my grandma's house. I film on the Monticello Trail when I'm making my movies. Well, son, you got to find new film locations because those are her spots now. I was like, well, goddamn. So basically, I was a prisoner in my own home, and I said, well, what about in public and if I'm going to college? She's like, well, if you see her before she sees you, go the other way so that she doesn't cause us, because if she calls us, we're going to have to arrest you. Even though I read your texts, they weren't harmful, they weren't threatful. It seems like you really love the girl. She complained about some love song. I said, yeah, I wrote her 55 love songs. So he's like, damn, son. I was like, man, I was in love, you know. I'm still in love, but not now. Not now. Now, I don't even know if I can even believe in love anymore. But anyway, unless it's with, I'll believe in that love. But anyway, the whole point being is that you can't break up with somebody every other day and then break up with them and they not fucking know. I know that was a long way to go for 15 minutes of clarification versus closure. See, it should have just been clarified from the fucking jump in the kitchen while I was washing dishes. We breaking up. This is fucking why. I don't love you anymore. I never loved you. I want to see how far this could go. You're holding a place for someone else in my heart. But it's not you. I don't want to be with you. Here's why I don't want to be with you. You're too short. You last too long. Your dick's too big. All valid. All valid. That is a confession. Just ask a couple of my friends who've caught me in compromising situations. So, knowing that, it would have solved this whole fucking problem. I'd have moved on without a fucking problem. I asked her friend T would always say, she don't want to talk about it. I said, well, have you asked her? She said, yeah, she doesn't want to talk about it. I said, well, did you ask her what the fuck that I did? She doesn't want to talk about it. I said, well, I need to know. Well, you're never going to know, and she's never going to tell you. And here I am in 2025. Don't know. But the good news is, I no longer give a fuck. I hope she's well. I hope she's happy. I do worry about our friend T that we share together. But other than that, that's it. So before we close out, I will tell you, I graduated 2 years ago. Before I turned 50, I turned 49, I graduated. The night of my last exam, I had a dream about her. And sure as fuck, the day of the exam, well, the very day before, actually, the day of the exam, no, I was right the first time. Sorry, y'all. Memory's a little clouded. She called me the night before the exam. And I was like, hello. And it was T. She was like, you know who this is? I was like, yeah. How you been? I'm good. Possibly getting married, etc., etc. So I was like, all right, cool. I was like, there a specific reason for the call? She's like, yeah, I was just seeing what you were doing. I was like, yeah, I'm good. Should have been checking in on me a lot sooner, but I'm good. Army life was great. I did attempt to send T some messages from the Army. But, I got my shit together. No, I really got my shit together because I stopped drinking. I got counseling. I got all the shit that I needed from the military. I'm in a good place right now. I mean, not financially, but life in general. I'm in a fairly decent place right now. So I don't really have too much to complain about except for the fact that I can't eat pork or beef or lamb for 2 whole goddamn weeks. Anyway, moving on. So, got through that shit, and I had to give T the text messages because I had to go downtown to get the papers of the harassment because the harassment charge is still on me because she wanted to talk to me, and I was like, can't do it. He's like, what? I said, legally, I cannot talk to her. It's like, well, it's been so many years. I said, and I have a degree in police science and criminal justice, and there is no statute of limitation on harassment. I said, until she goes and drops the charges, which means she has to go all the way to Crozet. They have to go all the way through all the files way, way back when she pushed the charges on me. I can't contact her until then. Well, she's sitting right here. I said, well, she can hear me, then you can let her hear me. If she wants to speak, she can speak. But I legally cannot have any contact with her physically, Facebook, TikTok, social media. I can't do any of that. I said, here's what the judge said. She can contact me. I can respond. But I can never, in no way, any shape or form, contact her. I said, and that's how it is until she goes back and have the cops contact me to let me know the charges been dropped. Charges ain't been dropped, y'all. And I haven't reached out to her, and I never will. Because I don't break the law. Not intentionally. For the record, though, just in case, so that in case this decides to bite me back in the ass, I will say, alright, let me find a more decent one. So you see these bubbles, these Facebook bubbles? And for the record, she has reached out to me on that, and I have responded. I've responded. No, nothing nasty. Sorry, I gotta respond to this now. From a different chick. God damn it, I can't spell. God damn it. Don't know if y'all can see that, but I was responding to Gina. And FYI, I'm in a group a couple of groups. I'm trying to actually get out of a few groups, but not that one with Gina in it, because that's a pretty cool ass group. Anyway, long story short, I had to text T the judge's papers and all of that shit. And so that was pretty much the gist of it. But like I said, the night before she contacted me, I had a dream about her and T, and I was like, the fuck? Why am I dreaming about these two? I ain't seen them since 2010, you know? So, that's pretty much it, you know? And I hadn't been out to look for them or any of that shit. I was like, no, you know what? I'm going to live my life, and I'm going to survive with or without them. That was it. Now, I don't know what T is doing. I haven't heard from her. But, the ex has a new boyfriend, and the ex is also a Trump supporter. So, yeah, we are definitely done. But what she also fails to understand is that she can still be deported. Because I don't know if she ever got her American citizenship because she was adopted by 2 white people when she was an infant. So, fuck if I know. Her and her older sister, actually. Her older sister was far hotter than she was, but her older sister was also closer to my age. Had I met the older sister first, I probably would have had a better relationship. I've seen the older sister. I've met the older sister. I will give her name out, but only her first name. Hi, Robin. I know she'll never see this. Anyway, she used to work downtown as a waitress. I bumped into her once. I saw her twice in my entire time of the relationship with her, but they were like apart. And I was like, okay. I didn't know that she really even know that I knew her name. It's like I saw her twice, like, hey, Robin. He's like, how do you know my name? I said, oh, your sister must not have told you about me. So that's pretty much it. But outside of that, I've only spoken to her like that one time when I spoke to her. And then I waved at her and called her name one time and she honked the horn. But that was it. Robin's a hot mess, boy. And I don't mean hot mess in a bad way. She's shit, yo. Anyway, that being said, we have to have clarification. If you're going to break up with someone, closure's not enough. Especially if you break up with somebody every other fucking day. Clarification, though, full stop. Clarification stops everything. I have complete and total clarification that Falcon is in this box up here. And he's open. You know. I also have complete clarification that Xavier is not open. And neither is the spot. A Storm Shadow. Shockwave. Falcon. And his box ripped also. The Falcon is open. That is clarification. So, now I hope you guys understand the difference between closure and clarification. Alright? And if you don't, then I'm a horrible teacher. Just like Peter B. Parker. So, it is what it is. Thank you guys very much. And one day, if you guys want me to do an unboxing, let me know. I have to make the time for it. I haven't had the time for it because I'm really trying to finish my book. Love 13 is done, but that's not publishing yet. American Kunoichi is done. I need to reach out to Lana. And finally, Sundown's almost finished. Thank you for watching. Damn it, I hit the wrong button.